Hello! It's October 31st, 2020. It is the last day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's Halloween. So I thought I would bring the fun energy to a very serious topic. Who loves the 80s? Valley girl, she's a valley girl. That's the song that comes to my head when I think of the 80s. So it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, the last day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, October. And today we're talking about how to heal after toxic relationships. This is really my biggest, my forte. The biggest topic that I love to talk about is the healing process, the healing part. After you've been in these toxic relationships, after you've been through the horrible experience of being in a relationship with somebody who is high confrontational, extremely toxic, maybe a sociopath, maybe narcissistic, whatever. And I always say there must be a healing process after you've experienced that horrific relationship. So that's what we're talking about today. So if you don't know me, my name is Denise Kavaluskis. I am a women's transformational love coach specializing in helping you heal from toxic relationships, narcissistic relationships, abusive relationships, all of the above. And so that's what we're talking about today. So let's get into it. Remember, smash that like button if you like this video or any of my other videos. Comment and subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get notifications when I show up in this crazy kind of energy to bring to you the message of, ultimately, the message of love. And that's what I focus on. So how do you heal after toxic relationships? Well, first, let me give you a little backdrop of what I've been through and where I am now. And I share this with you to show you, like, if I can do it, so can you. I'm no different than you. So, all right, 22 years in a toxic relationship, married to a overt narcissist. Don't know what that is. Please look that up. Grandiose, over the top. And we have 2 children together. I married him when I was very young. And our relationship was bad. Like, from the beginning, it was bad. If you've watched any of my other videos, I've shared with you some really hard truths that I went through. And also it's in my book, Empower the Woman Within, the extreme trauma and drama that I went through in 2008 with him. So there was a lot. There was a lot there. Yes, there was cheating and lying and just a lot. Just a lot. You know, you've been through it or you're going through it, you know. So 22 years, finally in 2000, the first time was 11, but I'm going to skip that part. 2012, I left with nothing but a futon couch and an air mattress and came here to North Carolina, where I've been here ever since. And I rebuilt my life and I rebuilt myself back up to be this confident, to show up on a video dressed like this, in this crazy energy on a huge platform like YouTube. The confidence that I have now is through the roof compared to the Denise that I was before in that relationship, because I played it so small and I just really gave him the stage. I allowed him to shine, where I was just the good little wife in the background. So I rebuilt myself and I rebuilt my life from that time, 2012 to now. That's me in the back of my husband's motorcycle. We just got married June 20th, 2020, just a few months ago. And I, for the first time in my 40s, was in a healthy relationship, because I'm not 40 anymore, I'm 50. But starting in my 40s, I experienced a healthy relationship. Like, for the first time in my life, besides my best friend, Gina, that I've been best friends with since I was 11, besides her, all of my relationships were toxic. Parents, siblings, everybody. So to be in a spousal relationship, to be in a romantic relationship, healthy for the first time in my life, it was new. It was definitely something that I had to get used to. And I even remember in the beginning of our relationship, I had been working on myself, and we had gotten into a disagreement because Ray and I never fight. We never fight. But we got into a disagreement, and I remember pouting, sitting on the couch and thinking to myself, because remember, I've done some work on myself. I remember thinking, first, having the awareness of this is the exact scenario, or I feel the same as I did when I was in my marriage. So having that awareness, and then realizing that this isn't him, this is me. This is the way that I'm reacting to this situation. And so instead of me continuing to point the finger at him and telling him what he needed to fix, I went inside. I went within me to figure out why I was feeling this way and why I kept attracting this type of a scenario. And so that's what needs to be done when you come out of these toxic relationships. There has to be a healing process. There has to, must have to do. Because if you don't, unfortunately, what will happen is you will repeat the same cycles over and over again. So you will find a different man or a different woman, a different relationship, even if you're in another state like me, and it'll be the same exact scenario as before. You will find yourself just like me, sitting on a couch pouting and thinking, this is the exact same thing that I went through with Joe, Dick, and Harry. And here I am again with somebody completely different, but I'm feeling the same way. The scenario is exactly the same. That's the repeated patterns. That's the repeated cycles that you want to pay attention to, because they're showing up for a reason. They're showing up for you. And so there has to be this healing process for you to go through. So I'm going to give you the 4 pillars to healing after a toxic relationship, because you clicked on this video for a reason. You clicked to get the answer to how do you heal after a toxic relationship. And these are the 4 pillars that I teach all of my clients. Maybe not necessarily in this order, but this is what I teach them. And of course, when my clients come, well, I have had a few clients who came to me before they left the relationship. So I help them leave the relationship and then heal during that time. But mostly I get women and men who are out of the relationship and need to heal. Okay, so here's the 4 pillars. So the first thing that I want to share with you is, I didn't make this up. This isn't mine. It came from somebody you might know. Actually, a few people that you might know. It came, the first 3 that I'm going to mention to you came from our great masters, Jesus Christ, Buddha, Krishna, our great masters like that. And the 4th one I added because it's through my experience, my own experience, and my experience of coaching women for years now, knowing that the 4th pillar is exactly what they need. So they call it the 3 keys to healing. And so here they are: self-love, forgiveness, and truth. Those are the 3 keys to healing. So if you look back on my videos, I just did a video yesterday on truth. It was called Why Are We So Afraid to Tell the Truth? And I shared with you exactly how to start having open communication, how to be vulnerable, because truth is could be a really challenging thing, especially if you've never had good communication growing up, and then you got into these relationships where more of the same started happening. So yeah, so those are it: self-love, love yourself, forgiveness, truth. So here's the 4th that I promised you. The 4th that I added is trust. Trusting yourself, trusting the process, trusting life, trusting God, trusting and knowing that everything, and as bad as it was that you went through, happened for you. And I know that may be a tough pill for you to swallow right now, but I promise you that is why it showed up for you. It's not to punish you. It's not to hurt you, continue to hurt you. It's not to beat you up. It is to teach you a lesson. It is to teach you a lesson, but not in the way of like, you're gonna learn. It's more of like, look, Denise, this cycle is showing up again because you keep ignoring it and you need to give it attention. So that's the lesson, right? It keeps showing up in these ways. And here's what I know to be true. When we don't learn the lesson, we get a worse version of it the next time. So I talk to women all the time. Some women have been married for, like me, 20 something years. They start dating, they get into a relationship. It's worse than the 30 years or whatever that they were married to. Then, or they marry that person. So the second marriage is worse than the first marriage. The third marriage is worse than the second and the first marriage, right? The fourth marriage is worse than all of them combined. This is how it goes. So how do you heal after toxic relationships? You go within. You love yourself. You forgive yourself. You tell yourself the truth and you trust yourself. That's how you heal yourself after toxic relationships. There's no other way to do it. There's no skipping around. There's no anything like that. That is the only way to do it. You can't get around it. You can't skip it. You can't ignore it. You can't refuse it. In fact, when you do refuse it, ignore it, resist it, it's going to show up even more. So the toxic people, the toxic situations will keep showing up because this is how life is. This is just the way it goes. It's constantly showing you what you need to work on. Scenarios keep showing you what you need to work on. So go within. And here's the thing, like, ask yourself, don't I deserve that love and attention that I never got before? Because that's what going within is. It's really just giving yourself the attention that you've never received before, right? Growing up, obviously, we got into these relationships because we come from these types of relationships. Again, that may be a hard pill for you to swallow, but it's the truth. I come from an emotional abusive background. So what did I end up marrying at a very early age? Somebody who was emotionally abusive, but worse. I was having this conversation with my daughter the other day. Like, she was in a 6-year toxic relationship, and she does not want to compare her dad to her ex because she feels like her ex was way worse than her dad. And he was. Because again, see that? Every relationship that we have that we don't give the attention to within us, we get the next one is worse. Myself, I would never compare my ex to my dad. Why? Because my ex was way worse than my dad. Because I didn't go in and heal from the childhood stuff, life gave me this husband, now ex-husband, who showed up, yes, like the way I grew up, but worse situations until I paid attention to it. And now I have the most amazing, loving man, open communication. Oh, we have so much fun, like just all the time, even just all the time. It doesn't matter if we're out, if we're with friends, it doesn't matter. We always have so much fun. It's so amazing. So That, my loves, is what I have for you today. Happy Halloween. It is the last day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Please, if you have been in these toxic relationships, please reach out and get the healing that you deserve. Okay? Therapy is great. Counseling is great. Reading the self-help books is great. Going to workshops and seminars is great. It's great. Great. Keep doing that. But it's not healing. And that's what needs to be done. That's how you break the cycles of the abusive relationships. And remember, our children are looking at us. Your kids are looking at you. You are exhibiting, you are the example of what a mom, a wife, a girlfriend, a female, a woman is to your daughters and your sons. So pay attention to that, because the longer you resist or you dabble in the healing process, the more your children see what I know you don't want them to see and experience. And so what happens is they go out and they marry a replica of either you being the one who's being abused, or your ex or your partner who is the abuser. And I know you don't want that either way. I know you want them to grow up to be happy and healthy. And that's how you do it. You set the standard. You go in within yourself and heal, and you will example to them what a woman looks like, what a man looks like, what a healthy relationship looks like, so that they don't repeat it. You literally stop the cycles, the abusive cycles. Okay, my loves, I love you so much. Thank you for showing up. Happy Halloween. I hope this video gave you some value. Please, if it did, remember to smash the like button, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. When you do that, you help the channel grow, so that I can reach more men and women just like you and me who've been through these types of relationships and need this information to move forward and heal from these relationships so that they stop the cycles as well. All right. Have an amazing day.